BTS news. Is it true that Jikook never spoke to each other again? Family reveals terrible facts. The shocking news again shook the hearts of the ARMY around the world. After previously the story of the emotional closeness between Jungkook and Jimin, who is familiarly called Jikook, being the source of Haru, this time the world is made shaken by rumors to the contrary. Is it true that Jungkook and Jimin are no longer talking to each other? More than just fan speculation, the news comes after a relative of one of the members' family revealed a chilling statement suggesting that their relationship may have gone through a deep rift, and not because of a trivial matter. The news comes from local media reports that said that after their emotional meeting at the military headquarters that the military secretly watched, Jungkook and Jimin were never again seen talking or interacting directly with each other. No letters came out of their barracks, no more greetings from one unit to another. Even the coach mentioned that they look like they're avoiding each other. This is awkward considering how intense and meaningful their last viral moment was. Sit in meaningful silence, understand each other without words. How could such a deep connection now turn into silence without a trace? Even more surprising, a member of Jimin's family who was confirmed as a close relative giving statements to the media that imply there is something bigger going on behind the scenes. We don't want to interfere, but clearly, there's something very painful going on between them. It wasn't just an ordinary fight. We just hope the public doesn't blame anyone before everything is clear. The sentence raises bigger questions. Is there a major incident happening inside the headquarters? Or could it be that military pressure kept both of them stuck in a difficult mental state? A staff member of Jungkook's coaching unit mentioned that Jungkook was seen sitting alone with his notebook several times, but refused when asked to write letters or messages to anyone in other units, including Jimin. When asked if he wanted to reply to a letter Jimin had sent before, Jungkook simply said, "Some words are better kept in the heart, because if you take it out now, it might hurt more people." On the other hand, Jimin's condition is called an emotional decline. He seemed more reserved, often aloof, and even had time to be released from one of the physical training sessions because signs of emotional burnout. One of the nurses in his unit leaked, "He is not physically ill." But we knew he was carrying something heavy. His eyes were full of pressure, but he never talked about it. Some Korean military analysts and social psychology experts attribute this incident to the indirect pressure they received after the military's admission of surveillance of Jikook's meeting. The nature of public attention, including cynical comments and overly intense emotional support, may create new burdens that are difficult to bear. Sometimes the love and admiration of the public becomes a trap for personal closeness. Perhaps they were forced away, not by their own will, but by circumstances that created boundaries, said Dr. Kim Soo-hyun, military psychologist. The biggest question now hangs over the ARMY. Is this the end of Jikook's story? Or maybe this is just a difficult phase that they have to go through. Like a storm before a rainbow, some fans still pin hopes, remembering how the two always come back to find a way to strengthen each other, from the difficult years of trainees to the world stage. But the harsh reality that they are now silent, after all that intimacy, cracks many hearts. They were each other's home. Now the house is quiet. It was a quote that went viral among fans, describing the collective hurt they felt. However, until one of them spoke directly, the world could only guess. As usual, they chose silence. Silence, which this time is not full of meaning, but full of mystery. After a wave of speculation and concerns regarding Jungkook and Jimin's fractured relationship, a number of inside sources began to dare to share small pieces of reality, and slowly, the great riddle of why two best friends, two souls who seemed so close, suddenly stood still without a trace, began to unfold. One of the most shocking confessions came from a logistician soldier tasked with handling inter-unit entry papers in a military exercise zone. He reveals that one of the letters believed to be from Jimin to Jungkook never made it to the barracks. When traced, the letter turned out to be detained for reasons of emotional security. The letter was very emotional. One of the high-ranking officers felt that the letter could shake Jungkook mentally, who was in a heavy training phase. So they keep it and don't send it. The contents of the letter were never officially opened to the public. But sources say that in the letter, Jimin apologized for something that may have turned Jungkook away. The cut of the sentence from the letter went viral after it was leaked in the internal community. "I don't know what's wrong, but if I hurt you unconsciously, I'm sorry. I just want you to know that I'm still here, even if you don't see me anymore." The sentence hit many fans like the blow of a hurricane. Jimin's sincerity, the guilt he honestly wrote about, and his willingness to stick around even if it wasn't reciprocated, made many people wonder, what exactly made Jungkook disappear? Some speculated that shortly after their secret meeting at the headquarters, Jungkook experienced a severe training incident that saw him almost transferred to a rehabilitation unit. One of the medical staff leaked that Jungkook experienced extreme stress in the physical endurance program and had collapsed on the field, but more surprisingly, when he regained consciousness, Jungkook refused to be visited by anyone, including by those who offered Jimin as a moral entertainer. He mentions, "If I haven't been able to rise on my own, I'm not worthy of being seen by him." That's when it shut itself off. No more writing, no more singing, and no longer reply to Jimin's letter, which, without him knowing it, never even arrived. In an exclusive interview with the media, one of Jimin's family members told that during one of the limited visits to the training site, Jimin looked very thin and silent. "We brought him home food, but he just looked." She said, "I'm fine," but her tears fell as she lowered her head. That was the first time I saw Jimin not want to talk about Jungkook. And it's scary. After mounting public pressure and media speculation, the military admitted that it had withheld the letters to protect the emotional stability of the soldiers. However, they refused to reveal who suggested the move. They just say, "All decisions are taken with psychological and mental health considerations in mind." There is no intention to separate anyone. But for two hearts looking for each other in silence, the slightest barrier can feel like a concrete wall. That night, in the barracks where Jungkook served, the wind blew stronger than usual. The sound of the clink of branches and the friction of the walls seemed to accompany the quiet strains that could not be expressed in words. Jungkook, who usually went to bed at 9, was still awake that night. In his hand, a shabby piece of paper that he had folded several times and opened again. He knew the letter would never come. But that night, like an invisible call, he wrote back. Not a letter, the temple song. A verse that only one person can understand. "Not because I want to stay away, but I'm afraid you see me as fragile. And if I am silent, it is not because I have forgotten, but because I don't know what to say. I don't know if Jim will ever read it." He didn't even know if he still had a place in Jimin's heart. But one thing he knew, it never really went away. He simply fell asleep among a pile of military schedules, commando cheers, and nights of training. Elsewhere, Jimin sat on the edge of his bed, looking up at the sky. In his hand, a small piece of candy that Jungkook had given years ago when they were both exhausted in the dance rehearsal room. "If you're tired, suck it up. Let's get you out of here," Jungkook said. And that night, silently, Jimin smiled, then closed his eyes with one small wish. Maybe, someday, there will be a night in which there will be no more distance, no more lost letters, no more painful silence. Only two hearts sitting on each other in silence can finally talk. Today, Jimin and Jungkook continue to spend their days on different paths in the military. They don't text each other, no mention of each other. But in the eyes of their friends, each still keeps one name that never fades. In his silence, Jimin still kept a letter that was never returned. In his silence, Jungkook still keeps the song he never sang again. And maybe, if time gives them a chance, in one day after all this is over, these two souls will sit together, open the folded pages, and say, "We've been quiet, but we've never forgotten."